told that he used to eat delicious things like duck and chicken,
Right.
but now it's downgraded to some potatoes. Not a very appetizing meal that he had last night. And by the way, if you've heard of MDC Brooklyn, this detention center, it's probably because R. Kelly has stayed there, Fetty Wap has stayed there, Michael Cohen, Allison Mack, and Ghislaine Maxwell. A lot of famous people have gone here before. Really, really.
Y'all, Diddy isn't doing at all well in prison, and CNN was allegedly able to get their hands on some footage, and boy, it isn't looking good for the Diddler at all. Imagine going from eating the finest food to having both men and women at your beck and call, well, more so men than women, and living in a 5-star luxury lifestyle to being stuck in a 3x5 cell in one of the most notorious prisons in America. Yup, Diddy is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which is known as hell on earth for its horrific conditions and rampant violence among prisoners. Baby, this is getting more serious by the minute. And you know, Usher done wiped his Twitter account clean of over 7,000 tweets, and so many top execs in music and fashion, even politicians, have been stepping down ever since Diddy was caught up and are allegedly fishing around for attorneys right about now. It hasn't even been 2 weeks since Diddy was locked up in the slammer, but he is already crying to his attorney every day, begging to get out no matter what it takes. He has to sit in solitary confinement every day, just him and his demons. And imagine how many times a day he has to replay the trauma he's inflicted on Cassie and Kim, as well as all of the oily freak-offs that are now a thing of the past. But Diddy has a raging substance problem due to years and years of use. And in the midst of those freak-offs, his lawyers are trying to use the Diddler's substance problem as a get out of jail free card, but there is no judge in New York that's gonna grant Diddy bail. He's way too much of a flight risk. And even though he gave up his $50 million mansion, his mama and all of his children's passports, even 1-year-old Love who ain't do nothing to nobody, even with all of that, what's stopping him from saying, F it, let me get on this jet and disappear? Because Diddy is selfish like that. He's a selfish man. And unfortunately, there is no guarantee that even his kids and mama can keep him from fleeing out the country if he was really that desperate enough to do so.
It's obvious that he didn't think it was going to ever come, and so that's why he didn't, or he was prepared, and his attorney was telling him, "Hey, I'll be able to get you bail. You know, you'll be out of here," which we found out that not to be inaccurate.
Listen, he could have easily disappeared to Bali with his best friend Russell Simmons, or even to one of those remote islands a few months ago, but his ego was far too big and had him thinking he could finagle his way out of this mess like he's done for the last couple of decades. If any judge is crazy enough to grant Diddy bail, then you know all them witnesses are gonna sleep with one eye open because the Diddler is coming for all of them. Side note, why is the image of him dressed like the Joker that time for Halloween currently in my mind right now? Child, he had the energy and the laugh down pat, so it ain't far-fetched. But right now, Diddy is being held up in a barbaric prison where the conditions are just horrific, and he's been crying out to his lawyers, begging for them to do everything that they can to get him released on bail, so he can finally get a decent meal at the very least, because apparently those Swedish meatballs they got in there were not hitting.
You have a plastic chair, you have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
Demeaning if you're an inmate, right? Because when you come into the facility, like say Sean Puffy came in last night because they arrested him. He has to go through a search. They have to bring him into the receiving room. They have to make him take all his clothes off. They have to search his clothes, search him, make him run his fingers through his hair, open your mouth, turn around, squat, cough, all of that. That's, it's traumatic. There's no other way to say it. And, they send you to the housing area, and then you're in a room that you've never been in before, and it's just one bed there for you, and the bed is a twin-size bed. He's probably used to sleeping in king-size beds with all the comforters and pillows and a television set, and, he doesn't have that now. He's in a cell, and his cell is no better than any other cell that's in there, so if the cells are run down, his cell is run down too. They're not gonna put him in a special suite or anything like that. He's gonna get what everybody else gets.
His lawyers released a statement saying that the prison is Diddy's personal hell, and he has nightmares every night when he's in there. Well, he's had more than 20 years to change his ways, so the public is a short on extra pity for Puff Daddy. The Don Diddler has to wake up at 6 a.m. sharp every single day, make his bed, and tidy up his room before breakfast. Diddy is only allowed to shower 3 times a week, and you know he has very little privacy because they are regularly checking on him now that he is on watch. Child, I can only imagine the grown man's stenches wafting from cell to cell. Whew.
Not only is P. Diddy behind bars, but now he's on watch in one of the most dangerous jails in the country.
And now, new reports are saying that he's so frightened of getting Epsteined at that prison that he has stopped eating.
Don't know, but they can't have this guy. It would look kind of funny. Now imagine if somebody got to one of the correctional officers, and this could happen. They don't make a lot of money. And there's people out there that he has things on that do have a substantial amount of money. Imagine if someone paid someone off on the inside to actually poison his food, give him a heart attack, and no one would really think anything of it. So that may be one of the reasons he's not eating. He's really, really paranoid. He's really, really scared. He doesn't know what to think. He doesn't know who to trust or what to believe.
The feds are having a making the band of their own right now, and they are good at playing the role of Diddy because that man was a menace on the show. He had those contestants walking from Harlem to Brooklyn in the middle of the night just to satisfy his cheesecake craving. But really and truly was just to make the contestants prove how desperately they wanted the opportunity. Can you believe the same man that required all of those character building exercises is now making a fuss because he gotta pick up a mop, dip it in water, and make sure there isn't a speck of dust in his room? Child, please. When the feds raided his house, one of the things they found was a big bag of pink pills called Tusi, and we already knew that it was Puffy's of choice. He made Little Rod get him some, and Young Miami was also a mule for Diddy, so she made sure that he was always fully stocked for his fix. And if it wasn't the pink pills he was popping, then it was the gummies laced with nose candy. The Diddler has been taking these for years, and now he's been stripped of all of his vices. And since there is none of that for Diddy behind bars, he is struggling. Perhaps if he were in general population, he might have found a way to get him some contraband, but he's in isolation, so he can't get the hookup in any way. His lawyers are saying that he's experiencing extreme fatigue and exhaustion, and he's already having strong cravings that he's struggling to control. If they don't get him out, Diddy might soon start battling depression and anxiety.
It's funny to me that, or unfortunate, that 24 hours before he was about to go to jail, knowing he had to turn himself in, he's still doing. And y'all remember the second thing that I told him to do? If y'all ever really listen to Reggie Wright, I said, dog, check yourself into rehab. Because when you go to prison or go to jail, that first couple of weeks, it's going to be hard. It's going to be rough on your ass. Get cleaned up. I'm sure Diddy is in there right now, shivering like a little, shaking, shitting, throwing up, and going through major withdrawals. And so he don't even have time to concentrate on what's really happening to him right now because he's feeling like a piece of shit right now. And that's unfortunate. For those of y'all say, oh, he wasn't on like that, or trust me, when they arrested him, he had some form of narcotics on him when he got arrested. And if anyone can tell that he had a drug issue, then you just being naive or you just a stupid.
Now, word on the cell block is that he's not sleeping too well, and he doesn't like the fact that he can only eat potatoes and cereal, and the food that they give him is neither fresh nor cooked adequately. Someone said, quote, he's B-wording about cereal? I thought he liked those Frosted Flakes, end quote. When he isn't eating, cleaning, or sleeping, he's moaning to his attorneys that he cannot keep eating inedible food, and the withdrawal symptoms are starting to get very painful for Diddy. But hopefully his lawyers understand that no one feels pity for him, except maybe Stevie J and Young Miami, now that their money game is gone, and a lot of people aren't buying this either. Quote, he's not rotting, he's withdrawing from 30 years of daily use. Not to worry, his lawyers are committed to fight for him until he runs out of money. And another, quote, Diddy is being held in the worst prison on earth, which is in Brooklyn and close to Junior's, which is the cheesecake place that he made the contestants of Making the Band walk there at 10 p.m. to get him some cheesecake. This almost feels poetic, end quote. And another, with enough baby oil, he could probably slip through the bars and escape though, end quote. And yet another, quote, bad boy for life taking a new meeting. 25 to life, every breath you take, every move you make, they'll be watching you, end quote. Diddy really has no one going to bat for him right now. But what do you guys think? Is there a way that Diddy can slip through this and get bail? Let's talk in the comments, but make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.